Hey everyone, it's Desiree. So today I'm going to finally show you my craft room. This is where I live. This is where I definitely breathe. I eat many dinners in here. And this is where I am always being creative. So this is where I do all my filming. Also known that when you see this room, this is a 10-foot by 12-foot room. And I do have two businesses out of this room. So I do have an obsession and an abundance of stuff. Let's just say that. So I've merged two worlds together in this room, fabric and paper. So, and that's kind of what you're going to see. So what I've been doing is segregating the room, at least trying to get it organized, with, if that's even possible, which I don't think so. But I'm giving it a shot. So you're going to see each facet. Know that I am a true crafter, and what I mean by that is you name the craft and I think I've tried it. So not even all of my crafts are in here, but pieces are. So you will be able to see those as well. So each video, I've broke it up into segments because filming it in one shot was very difficult, and that's what I was trying to do, which I should just stop. So you're going to see each section of the room. I'm going to open it up first and kind of do a somewhat spin around without getting you dizzy. I will apologize now for a few things. One, the video will be long. Yep, very long. It will be in real time. Yes, I did not speed this up. It will still have the same awesome humor. Yes, because there were things that I found and went, oh my, look at that. But also, oh God, get your Dramamine out. I am sure I did this with my phone in my hand. I wanted to make sure I showed you as much as I could. Some areas are scary. I believe the closet will be the scariest. So look out. I hope you enjoy it. I'll talk about some of the ways that I store things. It's not an IKEA room, so I'll warn you on that one as well. So enough of me talking. Let's show you the room. I hope you enjoy it, and I will be back to talk a little bit more on the few things that I've been mentioning. I hope you're excited as I am. See you soon. Okay, here we go. So this is entering into the room. So I've got this little shelving unit there, and we're going to hit each of these areas. It's massive, but this is exactly what you're looking at as you walk into my room. Now again, I'm going to be speaking for about the next hour and 20 minutes. So I'm going to be taking drinks every once in a while. Again, this is a long video, so be prepared, but I'm going to show you almost everything in this room. I know there's stuff that I did forget. So, as I said, I'm taking the paper and the fabric world and I'm merging them together. There are two businesses that I run from this room. Now, they're the two main ones. So the first business that I had, it was all fabric. I've now trimmed that down. I don't do everything that I did in the fabric world, mainly because I can't, because of an injury. So the first shelf that we're going to look through right here, this is for my junk journals. So I have off to the side there, that's a light screen thing. I've got my long stapler. I've got my punches down there. This is the fabric that I put into my junk journals. These are the extras, cards and tags and lace and ribbons and pencils. These are just some of the twines and the yarns. And then also some spare pieces of fabric because I make tags out of them. I sew them in. These are book pages, other tags that I get from my dollar store, envelopes that are folded inside, spare pattern paper, because I do use specific pattern paper when it comes to my junk journals. books that I found that I thought would be good. I make bookmarkers using paper clips and twine. Some of my extra papers that go in there that I fold in. That's the pattern paper that I rip and tear and create tags. This is my Tim Holtz. Oh, yes, this is where it needs to sit. Yes. And then these are just my art journal type stamps. Now, these are my extra doilies, extra bags, extra stickers, some stamps that I put in, pages that I can rip out for my junk journals. I'm not quite sure the bunny bucket's up there, but it is. And my lights. I have light bulbs specific for my room, especially when I'm filming. So that is the junk journal creation area. So this is how I tried to map it out. Up next, the little tiny shelving unit as you walk in. Now this is a lot. This is all 12 by 12 paper. This isn't all of it. Oh boy. This is the majority of my 12 by 12. A lot of it is the solid 12 by 12. These are the Best Buys that I get from Michaels. That is a box of envelopes for my junk journal, some magazines that I have yet to read. And then these are some products that I started out with when I first launched Include a Thank You. Not my channel, but my shop, which was like a year before this, before I launched. And what I had started to create, and I still make them and still sell them, are thank you cards for businesses to give to their customers. So that's why they say thank you for your purchase. They could either be tags or they were an actual card, like a 4x5 type card that they could put into the purchase that their customer made. So that's pretty much how the paper end got started. This is the tower of paper. And again, this isn't all my paper. Yeah, it's disgusting. So when we get back down to the bottom, and that is a mirror, that room does not continue. So these are the two plates that I use when I do my photos. I'm not sure if you recognize them at all. One's for the Christmas time and one's the regular one. So because I have no more room, we are now stacking the paper outside of the shelving unit. So again, Christmas, because even though I have all of that Christmas and Halloween and fall, I needed to buy more. That box there are glassine sheets. I make my own envelopes and pockets when it comes to my junk journals. I actually fold it. They're 12 by 12 sheets. I get those from Uline. Glitter paper specific to that time frame. More 12 by 12 paper. It's just going up. Some of it's 8.5 by 11. Just that one pad is. Now that was cardstock. Now this 12 by 12 is actual paper. So you can tell they're a little thicker. These are pages that I add into, not making tags. This is just some of the 6 by 6 paper. This is not holiday at all. We haven't even gotten to that yet, but there's also some specialties, some corrugated paper. That's what I actually photo on. When I'm done my cards and my videos, that's where I take my photo shoots on. I still am a cross stitcher. I love cross stitching. I love needlepoint. These are specialty threads for cross stitching. The Gentle Art. And as I'm knocking things over. So these I just keep out because they are special, and plus I can't fit them in the drawers where my other cross stitch threads are. I'm just being honest. So I have them on rings, on nails, and then I have this stretchy band across so that they don't go flying across the room, because they do. So on top of this, I have some general brushes. Now, forgive me again, the movement of the phone, I am just so sorry, guys. You know what? My hand was starting to cramp, and I was trying to keep it as still as possible. These are my Stampin Up markers. I did have the whole collection prior to their new colors coming out. These are watercolor brushes that I made using my India inks. And these are also clear, just for watercolor brushes, just to use as watercolor brushes. I have a Nuvo calligraphy brush, of course, that I haven't opened. This is one set of my ink tints, and then also some spare water color pencils that I get. I throw them in there. And that jar back there are my white and black pens. So my Sharpies, my acrylic white markers, my Signo markers, Faber-Castell markers, all of them. Little star that I made. These are zippers because I still do use zippers in my fabric ends, so I know what length I would need. I have that tester. Some stencils, a trash can that I use as a hamper for my microfiber towels. I just throw those in there. My husband knows to pick them up, so when he does the wash. Yes, he does. And a box, of course, of the baby wipes that I absolutely love. So this is the side. Again, this is the tower of paper, 12 by 12. You can tell that I've gone into the little one. This isn't even all. You know, as I was doing this, guys, I have to say, I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness, it's an obsession. There must be a meeting for this or a group to talk about these things. Okay, so our next area. So right next to that, I have this vase filled with these flowers. These are the props that I use throughout the year. I would love to use the black and the purple all year because those are just my colors, as you could tell from the beginning of the video. A little table that I have, and then I have one of those carts. Now, I got mine from Michael's. Now, here's the awesome thing. I start going through this cart. Now, I will be pulling this out so that you can see better what I have in there. But you can see I've got rubber bands. I've got pipettes. That box there is filled with the applicators for my glue with the fine tip. There's also some soap down on the bottom. My Glad Press and Seal is down on the bottom as well. This is where I get smart and pull this out for you. So here we go. Hello. So got some some cleanup. I always keep a bottle of water there in case I have to fill up my bottled water and I just can't walk out of the room at that time. My press and seal, as I said. That blue and white box there, that's for my die cuts. If my dies are just sticking to the paper and the paper won't pop out, I use that. It's a very thin, like a wax paper. You can use wax paper. This is the roll of foam squares that I get from Uline that I have in abundance. My alcohol, my blending stumps, my leather punches, my extra large rockable acrylic block, those scissors that have a funky cut to them. These are my spare scissors, again, for my paper crafting, some cleaners, some spare tools. That rotary cutter is only for paper. My diamond glaze mixture that I use for my paper beads that I make, that's my alcohol that I use to put on my cloths to clean with. Little tiny pallets that I got from the dollar store. That's my baby oil container, my alcohol blending solution. Gotta have my antiseptic. Yep. Cleaner for my hands. My extra glues, some craft knives. I have some bells. Those are pieces for pieces. My fabric stuff that I sell, I do stocking advents from the made at home quilt side. So these are just the extras. Now these and of course my sprayers, a regular sprayer, my Nouveau sprayer, and then my Distress sprayer, because each one's used separately. Absolutely. I just can't have one. So that just sits right up against that. Usually I'm standing on the other side. I do stand as I film and craft. I cannot sit. This is the wall of fabric. So this is the fabric side of the business. So this entire shelving unit is all of my fabric. And then half of these plastic containers are filled with fabric at all. Now, this is not all of it. Let me tell you what, there's a whole attic above us, well, above me right now, that is filled with the rest of my fabric. Don't ask. So one of the things with this table is the legs are actually shelving units. Somebody made this for me that is very dear to me. So let's go through the legs. Now this leg is facing out. It's not facing forward so that I can put stuff in. Bottom shelf, this is nothing but tags. That's my second big shot that I have. I keep all of my die cutting machines. Don't ask. I'll explain later. These are all of the rolls of the double-sided foam tape that I had. Again, remember guys, I do run business, a paper business out of this. I do make cards, and it's not just one card for people. I make multiple. So I have to have all of this in a spare. The only thing I use my 3M for are my shakers. It's the only thing that works for me and that I can work with. I have my extra large platinum, my original platinum spellbinder plates in the back there because they won't fit up here. Up on here, you can see it comes up underneath the shelf a little bit. So here's where I put all of my Big Shot plates, my Spellbinder 6 cutting plates, the shims, my glimmer stuff for Spellbinders, the embossing plates, all of those special things for either Platinum 6 or my Big Shot, my Sizzix Big Shot. That's all sitting up here. And then that box to the backs is for the mini Sizzix that I got. So if we come around the corner here, now again, I'm putting stuff back because it fell. So as we come around I'm glad I'm doing a voiceover. Some of the things you would hear are amazing. That is a grommet, as I'm putting my fingers that way. That's a grommet maker, a grommet punch. So I have that, and then I have the metal pieces. I'm sorry for the sun glare. Of course, we have a beautiful sunny day today, but that's just going to hit once in a while. I did get for Christmas a vacuum cleaner for the room. Yay, very excited. So the back leg, that is facing forward. I have my copy paper, all of my cords for my sewing machines and other equipment, my specialty paper for my junk journal, and then this is wax paper, parchment paper, more press and seal, some cling wrap, my Tim Holtz specialty tissue papers. They're all sitting there. That's a plate for my sewing machine, burlap, and that box there is actually all of this stuff, and I'm trying not to get too high so you don't get that glare. These are all the components to a weaving loom that I have. No, not a big one that I sit at, one that sits on the table, but it is 36 inches long, or excuse me, wide. That sits in my dining room. I've taken over the house. This is all of my fabric. Well, okay. This is the fabric that I use or will use in my business. So, when it comes to the fabric, again, this whole room used to be filled with fabric. So, the top shelf are pattern sets or fabric sets or rolls or strips. These next two shelves are all my batiks. That's what the business is going into. These are just general fabrics, but they're kind of like my style. Fabrics that I would use to make pouches and little tiny bags or trinkets. And then down here are just some spare fusible burlap pieces and some spare pieces that honestly I do have to go through. That's actually a wall that I can build and put my blocks up. I don't use it, of course, but it's there. So that's the fabric that's out. Notice it is facing the opposite way of the window. These are my little critters. Hi, guys. Yes, this is my collection that I've gotten over the years. The little koalas and the little kangaroo was when I went to Australia. Yes, I was very fortunate to go to Sydney. So I collect those, and I think when they're cute, they go there. So that container there are some sewing projects that I have for the showcases that I'm in. I make candle wraps for my showcases. These are some ornaments that I'm making on the paper side of my showcases. And then in there is where I've my projects where I take fabric, my scrap fabric, because I throw nothing away, onto scrap pieces of chipboard, glue it together, and then I cut out shapes using my Sizzix blocks. This is all fabric. These are all projects. These are all sets of projects. These are all monthly projects that I have over the years of sewing, and I just put them in these separate bins. So this is where I hoard my stash of Bristol watercolor and mixed media paper. So this is a very deep drawer, and it's a fabric drawer, so I got to be careful or else this will come tipping for me. There's a few composition books in here because I collect composition books. It's what I write in. Those top blue ones, they're actually for my to-do list because I must have to-do lists. The next one down is all of my felt. Yeah, there's a lot of felt in there. It's kind of busting out. I promised myself I would not buy any more felt. I think I bought more felt. Yeah, that's bad. This is where all the composition books are. I write a lot. I have some notepads in here. Those are grids for when I'm designing. There's a special paper that I buy so that when I do my designs, whether it's fabric or card, I can map it out when it comes to that paper. This box here, awesome box by My Favorite Things when they pack things. I love these boxes. That was holding all the junk journals that are ready to be put together and set up for my shop. These are more projects that been above there. That's more projects that I'm doing for my showcases. Yeah, more 6x6 paper. That's just Christmas. Yeah. This is spare props for photographing. And this is scrap paper. Yep, more 6x6 pads. That's all Halloween. I designed paper clips, so when I put the fabric onto my chipboard and I cut it out, I actually attach them to paper clips and I make multimedia paper clips. They will be coming out soon. These are spare card bases and envelopes for my junk journals. These are wool scraps because I use those for those mixed media things, and more fabric. Those two drawers, they're just file drawers. They're personal files, so no, not showing you those. I think the bottom one's also office supplies, labels and stuff. You don't need to see that. Okay? All right. So this is the tower. Again, this is the fabric with the junk journals. It's kind of molding together here. That is when I used to do hand quilting. I can't do it anymore. And then those are blocks that I have finished over the years and just haven't put into a quilt at this time. So yeah, there's some remnants of the room, but yeah, big shot sticking out there. You'll be surprised, I have 4 die cutting machines. So lots going on there. Okay, so now we're actually on the opposite side of that window where I just was. So you can see I have my TV with my DV player. Usually it's either a DVD or I'm watching Snapped. I don't know if anybody else likes to watch Snapped or SVU. I do. It does sit on this. That's what my cat lays in. I have paid hundreds of dollars for beds for my cat. Amazon box. That's what he sleeps in. I'm just amazed at that. Max was hiding. That's the name of my cat. He's a black and white tuxedo. It's an Amazon box. Yes. Okay, so let's go through the drawers. So we're just going to look at this right here. These are spare heat guns, glue guns, irons, all of that fun stuff. Now, these next two things, these are kind of personal drawers. It's a lot of office supplies. There's a candy stash in there. Caramel creams. Yay! And this one's got a lot of Bill stuff and everything else in there. So, I'm not going to show you those. Okay, so the bottom drawer. Now, hopefully I was thankful I was able to open some of these drawers up with one hand. So on the side is just like some discs that I have for my computer. These are stamps for the junk journals because they're just letters. And then my wooden stamps, that's my wooden stamp collection outside of rubber stamp tapestry. Again, rubber stamp tapestry for me is peg stamps. I don't have much in the world of wood stamps. I just don't have the room. So I've really cut those down. I've destashed. But the alphabets, I do like to use those in my junk journals. I keep all the paperwork for rubber stamp tapestry, and I stack those up. And this is my awesome collection of peg stamps. A lot of these, I'm very fortunate to be on their design team. You know, they asked me to be on their design team or design for them when I literally first started my channel. And I just thought it was great and an honor. And I love that I'm still with them. I love working with them. I love these stamps. I love the company. And I love the people I get to deal with. So that is my awesome collection. This drawer is a mess. Okay. So all my drawers are messes. Okay. I just haven't gotten that neat yet. So this right side is all of my mixed media. So my matte medium, my modeling paste, my gesso, my microglaze, special Q-tips, just all kinds of stuff for my art journals that I'm hoping to get into soon. A jelly plate. These are all the extra pieces that I have, whether they came in kits and I already had them, like the oxides, or because I'm ridiculous and I buy 2 of something, you know, like those 2 Altenew ink sets. I have 2 of them. I'm not sure how I didn't know I already bought it, but okay. So this is that center section's also because of the extras. I'll use those as giveaways and so forth. These are also my re-inkers. So the re-inkers that are here are my distress inks. I almost have all of them, and my oxides. And then the miscellaneous, the VersaFine, the Versamark, and a few others. So that's that. It's like the extra thing. This is my Stampin Up drawer. So at one time I was, you know, a demonstrator for the 20% off. So these are the stamps that I've collected over. I am a huge fan of Stampin Up paper and inks. And I mean, their stamps are great too. A lot of them, there's not many that fall into the items that I do like, but there are some that are. So I do like their die sets. So I do have a small collection. Here's more gesso. Sorry for that glare. It's just coming in. I'm trying to move as fast as I can because I can't do this at night. That's my obnoxious pencil collection. And again, that's only part of it. So this is both colored pencil and watercolor pencil. So the gray containers there, the fabric ones, they're my Prismacolors, both Scholar and the 120 set Prismacolors. I do have the Nuvo watercolor pencils, so that's one of them. I have the Derwent Metallics. I still have to get, I'm in line to get the Derwent colored pencils soon. Yay! This is the other Nuvo watercolor pencil set, the Hair and the Skin. These are the 2 Spectrum Noir color tints, the graphites, and I'll be showing those using water as well because they are both, can be used dry and wet. So that'll be fun. It's very interesting. I have another small container of Prismacolors. I got multiple. This here is my Arteza set. That's the 72 colored pencil set. They are really nice. I like them. But then again, I'm biased. I'll admit it. I am a colored pencil person. These are the 5 cents of the Spectrum Noir color blends. They're really nice to work with. I keep moving the phone. I am so sorry. These are chalk pastels. I use these in my art journals just to give a highlight around if I didn't want to use my Pitt pens. These are the Blick colored pencils. Great colors. Awesome colors. Blends beautifully. Of course, nothing's like a polychromo. These here are the Rembrandt's polycolor pencils that I have. These are wonderful as well. I'm going to say any colored pencil is wonderful, even Crayola. These are my Marco Renar's Fine Art colored pencils. Now we're getting into the watercolor sets, and wow, okay, sorry about that. Woo! Didn't know that was still in there. These are my Inktense. Yes, I had a jar over there of the 36. I also had to get the 72. Absolutely. I love my Inktense. A video is going to be coming out on those very soon too. These are the watercolors from Spectrum Noir called the Aqua Blends, and then the Arteza watercolor pencils, which are great to work with as well. So again, I'm going to try to block that brightness of the sun. It's very rare that we have it, but that is my collection. Now again, that doesn't include my the Sargents that I have, the Crayolas that I have, and all those other brands that I have as well. I have those in big bags or a big box just put together. Below that was some paperwork that I always am working on. My phone sits there. This, of course, is my printer. The plate, it's a funny plate. Read it. I'm not saying that. Okay, I did remove some of the stuff that could offend people. Please know. I tried to do my best. I could have left something. It's me. It's my personality. It's my room. Okay. So down below here in the next section are my sprays and inks. Now I have more, but these are the ones that I will grab for most. They're my micas. And also these here are the shimmer Delusions and also the regular Delusion sprays in the back. These containers I get from the dollar store. All of my containers, a lot of them, either come from the dollar store or Michael's when the photo boxes go on sale. I had to break here because I dropped this entire alcohol ink container. Yep. So those are all my alcohol inks. And then these are my favorite Hero Arts liquid watercolors. I love working with them. They are wonderful. And my Blick shimmer watercolor back there. Envelopes for when I need them, when I mail stuff out. Bills. Absolute bills. So that is, and yes, in case I get headaches, I have I'll leave there. Sorry about that. So that's the center. So now the desk area. So you can see all that paperwork on the wall. I want to move that, put that somewhere else, and that's where my inspirational wall is going to be. You'll hear more about that. So this is where I sit. So of course my computer's there, my sewing machine's here. This is where the editing goes on. Yes, I know. You guys are seeing I'm a card maker and there's a box of cards on my desk. I get it. And I'll explain that in a moment. So I'm going to get this chair out of my way. My cat eats my chair, by the way. Yeah, I love my cat. Oi. So I'm going to move the trash can. So these are all binders. This is the paperwork, both personal, both businesses, my designs for each of my businesses, and everything else. Now here is where I store my cross-stitch thread. Yeah, it's obsessive. So I would love to get these out and use these for my inks, actually. If I could move this out and put it out somewhere. But for right now, since it's underneath this table, I use these for my cross stitch. So they are arranged by number in the Ziploc bags. And then the very top drawer, which might be difficult for me to get you in there. There you go. That's the Pearl 5 cotton thread that I use for stockings that I sew, and I just shifted the whole thing. Again, more binders that I'm going to be moving into. In case I got to stick something together, I got some Gorilla Tape. That's where my scan and cut is. I cover that up with a mini quilt that I made. I'm obsessed with pens. Don't ask. My scissors for my fabric only. They don't touch anything else. And my rotary cutters. My starch for my fabric. These are tools that I use when I sew. The blue pair and the green pairs to open up packages because they're just beat up. And then more tools when it comes to my sewing. So you can see kind of like all of that sewing stuff got pushed to the back because the paper's coming to the forefront. Absolutely. So I'm going to loosen up this cord. This is all sewing stuff. So this are templates, dusters, pins and clips. Extra material that I use. I mainly use a muslin type material, some spray bottles, and so forth. That's all sewing. So that's the pedal. So I keep that strung up for when I have the sewing machine. I plug in and then I can just put my foot pad moving together. All right, so let's go to the top. So again, that's personal stuff there. Don't look at that. I'm trying to hide that. Can you tell? And I'm doing that now as I'm doing my voiceover. So here's my awesome computer. My husband loved me. Yay! I love my computer. I wish I could stand there all day. Yes, I have cards. But that's because it's a corgi. I love corgis. I used to have a corgi and I miss him every day. That's what I use to do my voiceover. I have a snowball. Ice. Can't have too many lights. You're going to see tons of those. I've got paper clips. I'm addicted to Post-its as well. That one's jammed up. Can't open that one because of everything that got stuff in there. That's my phrase. Sorry. If you notice, my sweatshirt says it as well. Again, more pens because I'm addicted to pens. If you see that twine hanging there, they're the bookmarks that I make for my junk journals. I don't want to get too close to the paperwork. Some of that stuff is that's why I keep moving this. So that's very private stuff there. These are just some funny things my sister has given me over the year because, yes, she loves me. And then just certain things. When life gives you scraps, we make a quilt. Just simple sayings. Again, back in my fabric days, I just love that binder, so I had to have it. I have another light that comes off here. And again, more Post-its, more paper, because I'm addicted to office supplies stuff. I could live in an office supply store. That bin there, that's where I put my cards. As I'm sitting here doing all my social media, and I know once I've posted on everything, the blog and all the other stuff I post on, I throw them in there so that they don't get damaged and they're in that bin. I am a traveler's notebook fan, and I also have my to-do lists within those types of books there. So I've got a lot of lists going on just to keep myself going. This is a project that I'm making for somebody. So in case they watch, I got to keep it covered. It's actually going to be a scrapbook album. You're getting probably a sneak peek of the Simon Says January card kit. These are the cards that I have left from the Christmas series that I did, and someone had asked if I would do a video to put those together, just to go through all the ones that we made. I'm going to do that before the end of January, because at least we'll still be in there. These are upcoming projects that I've either been asked to be a guest designer on, or I am a design teamer, so these will be surprises, so you can't see those. These are gifts that I'm making. Yes, Christmas in my world continues almost every day. This is one of 4 sewing machines that I own. That doesn't include my serger and my quilt machine. I guess I have 4 other sewing machines on top of that. My favorite is my Baby Lock. I protect her. This is my awesome looking wall of thread. I just love looking at that because of all the pretty colors. Some special rulers. And then off to, I believe I'm going off to the right here. I like to keep the Simon Says box. That's when I do sit if I'm coloring. I just wanted to show you my stole. But now I have a lot of twine there. This is also some of my tracing paper. There's a yarn wrap back there. Some specialty rulers for my sewing that I do. And then again, I do keep the tonic boxes that come in and the Simon Says. There's a friend of mine that as I go through kits and I cut into my paper, I give her my extra paper once I'm through it and I know I'm not going to use it. I just wanted to show my computer again because I love my computer. Alright, so now we are on the left side where I film. So this is kind of the more, oh my god, there's a lot going on here side, because this is kind of the paper world. The top 2 areas are still fabric. I can't get them to the other side. I'm trying. Eventually I will. I mean, our rooms are always organization in progress, let's say. But I know where everything is, but there are a few things that I found. So again, we're going to go underneath the table. Again, I've got these legs that are shelving units, so the back ones are facing to the front or out towards me. And so is the front left. It's only the front right that faces out to the right. Yes, that was my original big shot, and that one is a horse. It's amazing how that one works. But there's my spray tent. I use a Nuvo box for that. These are just some pieces of wood that I use for my watercoloring. They're nice and big to tape down on if I'm doing that big of a piece, which I usually don't. Another paper trimmer. It's a rotary cutter. My small Sizzix is sitting in there along with an OT light and a fan. It can get pretty warm in my room when I've got all these lights going. And then on this top shelf, these are all of my memory keeper, envelope makers, punch boards, and all of that. Again, I have a business, so I use all of this. Back there in the corner that I'll never get to, that's just a lot of interfacing that I hardly use, some batting, miscellaneous ironing things that I just made sure I stuck there. Can I get to it? I can. You can see there's my Platinum 6 off to the right there and my Glimmer machine. I'm a fan of the Platinum machines for spellbinders. That is my die cutting machine of choice. Even though I still have the 2 big shots, I keep those because of what I use when it comes to my business. This is a new newsprint pad that I cut down. I get one of those super large ones. I cut it in half, and then I take one of those half and cut that in half, so I get 3 pads from 1. I have an ATG gun that I don't use. Yeah. So in this basket here, so I have my watercoloring pail, so I can have clean on one side, dirty on the other. It's got a palette built in onto the top. I can put my brushes in there as well. I hardly ever use it. I use a glass jar. It's amazing. These bins here are what I use when I know what I'm going to do for my design team projects or a video. I just put my materials in those bins and pile them up and go to town when I make my videos. These are my other spares. You saw the one bin with my watercolors and my Bristols. This is all of the spare for my colored pencils and my other watercolor papers. My more specialty, so my arches, whether it's cold or hot press, the aquarelle Canson, the fluid watercolor paper, the more specialty ones, you know, I did break down and get some of them both in hot and cold press type paper. So that's where, that's where these sit. And again, I have tons of the colored paper, mixed media paper, because I just had to have it all. Hold on, gotta take a drink. Okay. And you can see that awesome side shot of the crate. Yes, I was having just so much fun. Working with one hand and holding the phone, just God bless people that do it better than I did, because I know there's a lot of people that did. So now we're going to put all that stuff back. So yes, I have a larger trash can and I use it to hold the smaller trash bags. Okay. So the bottom of the shelf, these are just metal findings. I used to do jewelry. I do not do jewelry anymore. The farthest I get with jewelry is when I make my paper beads. I will wire wrap around my paper beads because they do get attached to bookmarks that I make with my fabric. So again, there's that paper and fabric mix. I've got tons of my paper clips, my gold ones for my junk journals. I make bead dangles coming off of them. And as I said, bookmarkers. These are my acrylic paints. So I love the acrylic paints that you can get at Michael's or AC Moore's. Here are my Tombow. These are the containers. Again, I got these at the dollar store. I'm going to say about 8 months ago. I don't know if they still have them. I like to keep my markers flat. I really don't like to put them in a container, even though I have my Stampin' Up ones like that. And because I've done that, they are dried out on one side. So I try to keep my markers laying flat. These are Blick art acrylic paints, and I love them. I really do like them for my art journals. That's what I use. I do not have the Distress acrylics. I know, amazing. Distress markers, Distress crayons. These here are the Zigs. These are my Arteza watercolor brushes and also my Crayola. So that was me dropping something. That's why we quick flipped into another area. So here I'm finally showing the Crayolas. These Crayola markers, the fine tip, are wonderful if you want to get started out. You can use these as a watercolor palette. You can draw with these onto watercolor paper. I would suggest Bristol and move that with water. These will work fine for that. May take a little bit of work, but they can work if you wanted to try it out. These are the smaller size stamp sets, you know, like the little lawn fawns and everything else. This is my Gina K Collection. Yes, it's growing. And that's my Birch Press box and my Penny Black. I do organize my stamps by company, especially if I have a lot of it. So with the smaller ones, they're all together. This way I can just pull that out. I can go through it. If I want to do something with Gina K, I can pull that box out. Penny Black as well. It's when I want to look at for all of Christmas, for all of Halloween, I have to pull, yes, I don't do it by season. I have to pull all of this out. But it's okay. I have fun. Not sure why that's there, so I'm going to move that. These are my Sizzix blocks. These are the platforms. I love these things. I understand they take up room. This is what I use most when it comes to my business. I can cut more cardstock at once. I can get a basic shape. I can embellish that shape, and I can do what I want with those. So I do collect them every year. They are the Delusions Acrylics. They are my absolute favorite in acrylic paints. These are the Crayola fine tips. Now, they're excellent watercolors tips or watercolor pens as well. Now I'm just moving here because to show you this, these are all seed beads. Those micro beads, I use those in my shaker cards as well sometimes. Sometimes though there's a lot of static, so you haven't seen me use those in a little bit. Now we're fighting to get back into it. These are all my Mises by Nouveau. I love the embellishment mousse. That's all my spellbinders, both dies and stamps. That's all my Simon Says dies and stamps. This one here is my Darcy's. I have fallen in love with Darcy's. I recently just started doing a lot to get those stamps. My Favorite Things and Elizabeth Craft stamps and dies. Those are my Hero Arts and my large Simon Says stamps from their kits. These are general. These are just, I have a few of Pink and Maine, a few of Sunny Studios. Same thing with the one next to that. Again, Pen Obsession up there. In the middle there are my watercolor sheets or backgrounds that I made, but I'm just holding on to. I throw those in my junk journals, and stamps that I have for my junk journals as well. That is, I also, I weave, or excuse me, I spin. I spin fibers, I spin yarn, I make my own yarn, or I make my own thread. So that puts it on a spool, and then that top one puts yarn into a ball for me. Yes, I have a foxtail. Please don't anybody say anything. That is just special to me. So it's from somebody special. Okay. I have my scan and cut pieces in that box. That is, here's Obsession. So these are all my sequins. Yes. So my Nouveaux that are in the pots, these are my enamel dots and gems. These are my Nouveau sequins that are in those little pots there, and also confetti. If I have a sequin that I haven't put back into the containers, it sits there until I can do that. When I'm one-handed, it won't go back. These are all of my sequins. So these are from kits. If I didn't use them that I got, I'd like to keep them together. I'd like to mix them. These are just some general sequins that I've collected over. These are also the Doris ones with the shapes. And these are more beads, both bugle and seed, again, for shakers. Yeah, it's obsessive. You know, as I was doing this, I'm like, oh my goodness, who knew? Although, as we get to this back corner next to the sequins, yeah, I found a couple things. I knew I had them, and I could not find them. Now I know where they are. It was fun. So, on the base there, it's another palette and another cutter that I just don't use. That's where I found, those are my Tim Holtz papers and my tonic papers, my extra ones that I bought. Those are some prototypes that I have when it comes to some things that I'm thinking about. These are all my foils. So this is for the glimmer. These are the gilding flakes. And these are the Thermoweb, the Gina K foils. Now, the glimmer foils are not interchangeable. They are only for the glimmer system. That's the set of Arteza glitter pack that I have, and then that's what I use. I use one of Gina K's cases from her kits for when I do the gilding flakes, which is so fun. This is kind of like my watercolor shelf for the next shelf up here, or next to this. There's my Arteza set. These are the palettes that I use for my Mission Gold and my QORs, or cores, whatever you want to call them. I say QOR. I love those palettes for my watercolors. I think they're awesome. I think they're great. These are watercolor crayons. This is a Faber-Castell set. I found them at Michael's for $2. This is when I was teaching classes. I bought like 10 of them. How could I not? My Altenew pan set. Those are my QORs, and that's my Mission Gold. I have my Inktense blocks, and of course, since I have the 12, I had to also get the 36, which is sitting underneath. Yeah, because Derwent is awesome for me. These are some more watercolor crayons. These are the Lyras. These are My Arteza fine liners, I also use those for watercoloring as well. This is about to fall off the shelf. There are my chalks that I use, and then there's some water oil pastels that I use for my junk journals as well. Next shelf are my India inks by Dr. P.H. Martin. I do want to get his watercolors, so slowly I will be getting those. That's my watercolor set. Totally forgot what it's called. Some blank palettes, because I know I can always use more, and my Gonzai. I have 2 sets of those. These are the binders for the Tonic Studio kits. I am still receiving the kit. I just don't know how the videos are going to continue. I'm looking into that. And I am back to subscribing on that, which is fine. That was my choice. We were just having difficulty getting me the kit, and that was not on their fault. That was because of my shipping. So I just felt, you know what, I'll go back to being a subscriber. This is how I store my small inks. So my mementos fit in one of these cases. These are art bins. I have all of the colors for the archivals in the small, except the black and the brown I have in the large. And this is a case from Michaels. I think they're like $2, and they're already divided. They don't come out, and they fit perfectly in there. Again, these are art bins. I got these at Joann's. So this, I also have them for my distress. I'm able to break them down into the color schemes. And then underneath each of the distress inks, I also have a blending pad, mini blending tool pad underneath, and I have a piece of blue painter's tape to hold the lid down. I also use one of these. These are all of my hero arts from all of their kits. I've gained a collection. These are my pens, and the spot where we jumped, because again, I dropped the camera again, is the package. That's all of my gel pens that I have, the different colors. And then that one's holding my Nuvo and my Stampin' Up ink pads when I was getting those through the kits. That here, these are large plastic stencils. They're like 8.5 by 11. I just put them in one of the boxes. Again, kudos, Simon Says, with the boxes. I love them. These are just some Halloween bags. These stamp sets here are what I get with magazines that I get. I just keep them. They're cute. I've used them. Stencils, I keep them in one of those. I keep them in the packaging. And then these are the ones that I just haven't filed yet. These are all my background stamps. I keep those all together. I have no idea what this is. Just found it. Awesome. I'll have to put those where they need to go. This is my glitter paste. That is my collection there. And then underneath that, I'm putting that down so it doesn't fall. In the next bin, now again, these plastic bins as well are also from the dollar store. Oh, I'm sorry, no, this one's from Big Lots. These are my Nuvo glitter pens, great for watercoloring as well. And then my acrylic pens, both Posca and the Delusions that I have. I don't know, I'm still out on the whole acrylic pen thing. What are your thoughts? I don't know, I think it was a craze and I jumped in on it. I probably shouldn't have jumped in. Anyway. So above all of those shelves now, those are paper or card and envelope sets. I use those in my junk journals. My miscellaneous specialty paper, if I get it through a Simon Says kit or if I get it through a Hero Arts kit, that's where that goes. That's my Simon Says paper because I do hoard it from their kits sometimes. My Nina 80-pound for my alcohol ink. This is the paper, 110-pound smooth, that I use for my card bases only. My Favorite Things paper. I get their sample packs because I love My Favorite Things paper. As we move across, we're going into the Gina K paper that I have from her kits. This here section is all of my Tonic specialty paper. So this is the mirror. The satin mirror and this is all their mirror cardstock. So how I am starting to store my paper are these plastic sleeves. These are not job folders or job pockets. These are plastic sleeves that I found on Amazon, and I really like them. I put my label on it. I take the piece from the packaging. I put it in there so that I know what color it is. They can hold a lot. I put one of the entire Desert Storm that I got from My Favorite Things. I think it's 25 sheets. And I think I was able to fit all 25 sheets in there. Just fine. I don't have a problem with it, but it's protecting. This is all of my Stampin' Up collection so far. I am a huge fan of the Stampin' Up paper. When it comes to my images, that's more mirror cardstock. This is glitter cardstock. This is all of my recollections. Because when I do a lot of layering of paper, I will use the recollections. It's thinner. It doesn't add so much bulk. That's my vellum. More glitter and mirror, and more specialty paper, which is also glitter and mirror as well. Those two are my Tonic Studios papers that I've gotten over the years with the kits. My baby wipes. Gotta have my Swiffers. Swiffers! And then once I fill up that bin that was on my desk, I put them in here, and then that tells me, okay, you know what, you need to package them up. I do sell my cards. Usually by the time I get them into the work, they're gone. Everyone buys them there. These are just some color swatches, some fun things to hang, because I like fun things to hang in my room. These are also props. Again, I'm very much into goth and steampunk. So there is just a little bit of that into my businesses. This is all Christmas material. That's all Halloween material. I couldn't fit it over there. That's what that finger going over there was. My batik scraps, I don't throw anything away. They are my 5-inch and 10-inch square panels. That's my specialty material like gold, lame, and so forth. And I'm not quite sure what's in the back because I can't get to it. And I didn't want to climb. So this is, again, to the left of where I would stand, where I film, and all of that. Okay? So now as we go down to the other side of that shelf, these are my own shimmer mixes that I've made using perfect pearls. I like copper and the iridescent. I collect the lollipops. I got to give them to my niece. And then, of course, my vintage photo. See how close it was. So after I clear that out, watercolor pens. They are the Winsor & Newton. These are the Glimmer pens by Spectrum Noir. The Aqua pens by Nuvo. Some stamp pads, my StazOn and my Archival. Some metallic paints. These are my Stampin' Up blends. And again, I go to cool and warm. That's how I bring my colors out. These are my miscellaneous alcohol markers. So these are the Blick, these are the Pro markers, and the Nuvo. Because sometimes you do get the Nuvo markers in the kits, which is awesome. So as I get those, I'm filling those in. Okay, inks. Gina K, so that's the top shelf. So cool, neutrals, and warm. It's how I set everything down. Cool, neutral, and warm. That helps me match things up. Altenew is just Altenew because I take their groups of 4 and I put a rubber band around them so that I know this is the group of 4. Miscellaneous inks. Okay, this could be anything. Now, I have all of the Ranger dye inks. I like them. They're just getting buried. These are my golds. These are all my metallics. These are just some one-off colors that I have from maybe Avriel, My Favorite Things, Color Box, any others that I can think of, because I was trying out different colors, so they kind of go in there. There's my oxides. Again, same thing. Cool and warms. My brown go in with my warms. For the Stampin' Up inks, I set them up the way they have them. Regals, subtles, and brights, and neutrals. And I have my re-inkers in the cases as well, in that case. No pun intended. Those 3 cases there are my dies. I'm slowly pulling them out and putting them into sleeves. These are my embossing folders. In this... I forget what I wanted to say with that. Type of bin? Basket? That's it. Basket. This is a box here that I have some of my other dies. Mainly Sizzix dies are stored in there. Again, I'm slowly pulling those out to getting some type of an arrangement for them. I have pulled a lot of the dies out, especially my frames. I keep them very close to me. along with my sentiment dies. And you'll see that in a moment. And that's that corner. So now we're starting to get to the center, the where all the action occurs. So this is where I film. I stand when I create, whether I'm filming or not. This table was made by someone very special to me. I just met this person and I was talking to her about it, and she actually took the time to make the table, not these with the drawers, but that table with the legs that are shelves. She actually did it. It was very kind. So let's look at this piece that comes out. So I have 2 of these. So hanging off there are my microfiber towels. And what I did was, again, I have, excuse me, I punched a hole in them, put a grout on it. I bought these little tiny hooks from the dollar store for a shower curtain. This way I can hang them up. They run fine through the dishwasher because I do put these into another towel just because, and they get washed alone on their own. This way I can hang them and I always know where they are, and I just grab one. My corgis. These here, these mini blending pads, are for my oxides. As I said, for my distress inks that's actually connected to the pads. And then some yo-yos for some projects that I'm making on the fabric side of the business. I have one of those Sizzix sandwiches to tell you how to make the sandwich, because I always forget. It's horrible. I just forget. On top of this is a lot of stuff, because I just have to have a lot of stuff. So you can see that's where the metal cart sits if I have to grab. That's my label maker. Right behind that, it's very simple, nothing fancy. I like it. It does what it needs to do. I know. I have funny sayings. Again, if I offend anybody, I don't mean to. They're just my sayings. These are all my white colored pencils, my blendings, my Pit pens, my brushes for my colored pencils. Oh, I just found, I found that. That would be for, that is a blender for colored pencils specifically. I found that at AC Moore's. Yes, Artist Loft. So yes, I did this. I found stuff. Again, that's the Dove blender. These are, I have to have a lot of pencils near me. It's just me. I've got to be able to grab a pencil, and trust me, by the end of the day, it will be empty because they're all over the room. These are my favorite brushes. If I'm going to watercolor or anything like that, I'm trying to focus this in and it's not working. These are my Nuvo brushes, my Ranger brushes. These are my Minka brushes. Those are very precious for me. I got those, I think, on sale at Jerry's. Very expensive. And then also the Black Velvet. I do have 2 of those. But I am a true fan of the Ranger and the Nuvo brushes. I think they are wonderful. I love the bounce that they have. In case I need an adapter, because I'm moving my computer, some spoons for my embossing powder, my anti-static tool. I like to keep tags next to me because I like to, if I throw them in somewhere, I can cut them down. My tapes, that is a magnetic bowl, and I do use that, especially when I do the Hero Arts kit, because there's so many. I do have the Spellbinders diamonds, you'll see, but it's covered. My Post-it tape, my glossy accents, my little brush for my glitter, my scissors, some watercolor brushes, my picks, my palettes, my paper creasers, a bone folder, needles if I need them, if I have to quick unjam or unclog my glue, my heat gun, and then of course on the table I did have my Ranger heat gun for when I just want to dry paint and so forth. So let's go into these drawers. I'm warning you now, these drawers are scary. Okay, I am not organized in my drawer. Like this one. This has got a little bit of everything. So I've got the little tiny rings to make the exploding confetti cards. I have a whole container of those. Some dishes to put little pieces in so I don't lose them. Some Frisket. Some spare spoons. Some white ink. Some ties that I use to put around my rubber stamp tapestry peg sets to keep them together. An empty container that I use for my alcohol. My awesome 2-inch film tape that must be close. My clear shipping tape, I use that to put over my stamp sets when the 2 pieces that hold the stamp set are not connected, so I don't lose it. Gotta have my wobbles. There's my mini wobbles. I have a whole pot of them. And of course my sticker maker. Next one, fun foam. That's all it is. Fun foam. Yes, it needs its own drawer. That's how much fun foam I have. Yes. This one's scary and I can't dig too deep. This is where all my, yeah, this one's bad. This is like the mixed media drawer, another one. So the pom-poms went in here. I've got brads in here. I've got eyelets in here. I've got book rings. I've got metal findings. I've got stickers. I've got letters. So this is kind of like a junk journal, art journal drawer to put things into those pages. This is obsessive. This is all my liquid glue along with glue dots. Yeah. It's really bad. Multiple pens, multiple things of glues, because I can never run out. I must have it. This one's not so bad. This is my twine and string. Now this string is back when I sewed, but I think it's going to be great to incorporate it into my cards. It's got some beautiful threads in throughout it. There's my cord. I have multiple things of that. I don't like to run out of that. And my baker's twine. This is all of my ribbon. Yeah, it was organized at once. Yeah. And this is also miscellaneous. So I have my extra microfiber cloths, an extra chamois, some elastic thread, more Post-it, extra spoons. I have some more ribbon or sticker or labels for my label maker. They're all my, excuse me, my micro cloths. These are my business stamps, so if I'm sending literature or whatever, I can stamp that just with my business name and my business insignia. And that's those drawers. Now I'm trying to get up. Yes, there was a lot of kneeling. There was a lot. Yes. Oh, there's my foot. Okay. So as we come around, you can see that's what shoots out. So I have like this L that comes around to me. And you can tell it's almost like it's bouncing me into the left-hand side because there's really no, just the 12 by 12 paper. You can see all of the beautiful engraving that she did. Now with the other one that's up underneath in the front between the legs, I can put my laminator that I have yet to use, my stamp positioner, one of them, my paper trimmer, my guillotine, and then my Fiskars. I'm able to put my magnets to my stamp positioners down the center because this is, I'm so sorry for that, Claire. That sun was just causing me havoc today. So in the top drawer, I have my crocodile. I only have one, but hole punches. They're all my acrylic blocks that I have, and then miscellaneous tools. Those are my cutters. There's the laminator and my craft mats. I got all kinds of craft mats. This here is holding my Nouveau drops, my Ranger enamels, my stickles, my glitter, and that's loose glitter. I couldn't fit the Arteza in here. So this is just all the sparkly embellishments. This is more sprays. These are my Lindsay sprays, some chalks, some sprays that I made with Perfect Pearls. These are my Pearl X's. I have my Color Bursts by Ken Oliver, my Peerless watercolors, and then the Nouveau shimmer powders, which are awesome. They're my favorites. Okay, we'll close that. So the bottom drawer, yeah, here we go, more obsessiveness. So my rubber foam, or my Easy Mount, this is more double-sided foam tape. That's more foam squares, some painter's tape, some clear 3M tape, some Stampin' Dimensionals. There's the strips that I like to use also for some shakers if I have a really thin line going on there. This one's bad. Look out. Yeah. These are the dry adhesives. These are the tape runners, glue dots, adhesive sheets for the die cutting machines. This is very obsessive because I have to try everything and I'm finding I'm really only liking certain things. So this drawer should go down because I will go through it once I clean through it and get through it. My score tape, I do use that a lot when I make my scrapbook albums. Yeah, we'll just close that one. All right. next one. This is all my blending equipment. So these are my Nuvo brushes, my finger daubers, my Ranger brushes, distress brushes, my mini blending tools, the makeup sponges that I get from the dollar store because I'll use those in a pinch. Just regular sponges where I can use to spread inks if I want. I have the Nuvo. They look like makeup sponges. I have those. They're in the back there. That's for my alcohol inks. And then these are just the Stampin' Up sponges back there and makeup sponges that I have that I'll just use in a pinch. But again, I also have that on my cart as well. So sometimes these areas too are, okay, these are the extras that I have where I have all that on my cart so I can just grab it from there. When I pull it from there, I just make sure I put it in. This is the obsession of my embossing powder. So I did switch to these containers and I am loving these containers. So the ones that I have multiple pots of went into these containers. Of course, with our kits that we have, we get that in there as well. So I make sure I write it on the top. So this top bin here is Hero Arts. Some Gina K that I got, some Simon Says that have come in the kits, some Ranger. These are the specialty Stampendous flakes that you can emboss with as well. The baked texture, I am absolutely in love with the baked textures. Oh my god, they are phenomenal. But these are really the special ones. Frosted Twinkle, and these are the Lindsay Stamp Gang, where it may look white, but it could be a different color on any other cardstock, so it's kind of cool. Heavy glitter type embossing powders. Also, now you don't need to see how to put all that back. Now, I'm in the left front leg, and that's facing towards me. So these are some sheets, color grids for the things that I have on some of them. I've got to rebuild that. These are some cutting boards that I use for my watercoloring. This is a very large cutter. It's a rotary cutter. That's what I use to cut my card bases, because again, I cut them 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. That's the only thing I use that for, and then another spray tent was next to that. My Arteza watercolor pad just sits next to this, and that bottom box are the watercolor cards from Strathmore, and then on top of that were my card bases already cut. I'll just have to choose a color. This is also paper that's already cut to size: alcohol ink, distress watercolor, Bristol, watercolor Canson, Nina 80 pound. I also use Recollections sometimes depending upon what I'm doing, so they're already pre-cut. So you can see the detail. This table is just absolutely phenomenal. I am absolutely in love with it. I know it's not white. I did want it to be black. I do like the darker colors. I think things stick out more. So that's the container. I'm switching this container. It's cute for my chamois. But I can't get my hand in there, and you'll see that in one of my, excuse me, what I switched to in my must-have video, because I got switched over to something. This mug here, that used to be my coffee mug. Yes, it's huge, and it says Create. That holds my gel pens, my brushes, my tea roller, miscellaneous stuff. I have a little tiny pan there with some scrap paper that I'll dig into. These dies here are my edge dies, border dies, word dies. These are all of my frame dies. So, of course, the Lawn Fawn Stitch, the Wonky, the Antique Frame, they're all in the front, but they are just frame dies. Here are just the papers if I need my watercolor paper, my Bristol paper, and I don't have it cut, or I need a larger sheet. My colored pencil paper, my packaging for when I package my stamp sets, or if I have to repackage. These are my pockets. I get some from Simon. I get some from Scrapbook. I get some from eBay. Again, I'll try to have everything listed down below as best as I can. Don't get nuts with me here. I have the 2 palettes from Altenew, my scoreboards, my 9-inch Fisker sits here. So when I'm reaching for something, this is what I'm reaching into as I'm coming across. If you see that shadow. Post-its, yeah, I know it's obsessive. But that's what I use to mark the back of my cards in the order of which they go. So sometimes you see that sticking out of the card. Not that it works, but it helps me. It gives me notes, and that's where I put all of those. My big Post-it roll, my watercolor cards from Simon Says, more colored pencil paper, my shavings, because all of my sharpeners just get thrown in there. I dump that every once in a while. Little tiny Versamark, Versafine, a Nuvo embossing, some cut and dry from Ranger. I use those to help blend. I have to use that poster board to block the sun sometimes coming in. You would think you would want it. You can see that glare just coming in. I'm trying to block that. It's not working. I'm sorry. This was a box that I got from Michaels. It's called a soda bottle box. So I put this up there, tilted it back just a little bit. I put something underneath it just to keep it tilted back. That's what holds all my alcohol markers and some of my ink pads, my Versafine, Versamarks, and all of that. These are just some new stamp sets that I had brought in, looking over, seeing what projects I should do. My pencil sharpeners up there, miscellaneous tools are up there. There's my distresser. Just saw that. And then on the other side were all my sentiment stamps. What's in the back of the Platinum machine, I thought I went over that, or just upcoming projects that I'm about to do. And then although the plates for my Platinum 6 and my big Platinum that you just saw there, that always sits off to the side. I'm not going to get that on the camera. This here, that's what I film on. That's the size of it. My coffee mug, because I can't be without that. These awesome glue applicator holders. I'm loving them. You'll hear more about those in my must-have video. I don't know if that's going to be before or after this, but just must-have video. You'll hear everything about those pieces. For when I do film, I believe I'm about to show that. Or no, I think I'm going to pan out and just show. So again, I stand in front of there. There you go. That's what I set my phone into. This is the Akron arm. And I learned about this from Justine Hovey. I'm sure I'm pronouncing her name right. I am so sorry. She got me introduced to that. These are my two lights. These are two simple metal lights. Now I put tissue around them to soften it a little bit. I believe I'm going to be taking that off soon. I've already got a diffuser on it. We're going to have shadows. Nothing you can do about it. That is my station, and I stand in front of that. So pretty much everything that I need, sentiments, dies, is all in front of me. This is scary. This is the closet, and let me tell you what, stuff is just stuffed in here. This is where I keep my overstock. Yeah, it's scary. The door also doesn't like to stay open, so it's really funny because I'm actually filming this standing on one leg. I'm just saying. So I hope we all appreciate this. So in here are just other quilt kits that I just can't have out of my sight because I paid a small fortune for them. Those are more tags, those boxes up there, because I get them from Paper Mart. That's all of my packaging for my cards, the sleeves. Now, and when I say packaging, to sell, not the sleeves to store. My spare paper, spare containers, my stamps that are still in CDs that I really don't touch, so I'm just holding them in there. I have these drawers here, and I also hold a chair in here for when my husband wants to come in and talk to me. He's not really allowed in here too much. Yarn that I can pull from. Now we're just getting bad because now I'm just starting to stack some stuff. I have my baby wipes in here, the ones that I don't have to break into that box yet. So I'm going to pull the chair out. I'm also going to pull out, this is my ironing board, because again, I don't do quilts anymore because I can't. Because of the pulling and everything. So that's my ironing board that I can use. So if we look at these drawers, now I'm going to go down. Now the light's going to get bad, so this is going to get a little fuzzy and grainy, so I apologize, but I figured you guys would want to see it. This is Halloween ribbon. Yeah, it's obsessive. More glue. Yeah, it's just bad. And there's more stuff in the back. This is just all of the extras. This is my extra diamond glaze, salts and Mod Podge and glue sticks. There's extra Arteza markers in here, acrylic paints, my Faber-Castell extra paint sets. It's just bad. This is more tulle, satin, cording. It filled this up. Yeah, this is just bad. So, again, this is all the extras that I have, and I'll pull from this. So, again, they're pom-pom makers and yo-yo maker contraptions for the fabric side. Again, more card bases and envelopes. I do use protective sleeves, but thicker ones, because I'm thinking about that's how I might store some stuff. Those are the sleeves for the paper that I use. This is my spare paper. I go through the Recollections craft like there's no tomorrow. Extra blending. Those 8 boxes are where I put my finished cards to sell. Now we're getting into where I can't dig down into. So this is washi tape. This is, I make my own junk journal inserts, napkins, some kits there, some other stamps that I need to pull out because they're my Stampendous. I'm going to calmly put these pieces back in there. On that shelf that you see above those 2 boxes, like right there, that's all drawing items. That's drawing inks, drawing pencils. Yes, because I take every one of Lindsay's courses that she puts up, and I must have everything that she talks about, because that's who I am. Yes. So on the wall, I've got, see the dust? I've got extra Fisker cutting blades, because you can never have enough of those. From the other cutter I have, some craft knives, some glue sticks, rotary blades, needles. You think I have enough? More glue sticks, extra glitter pens, stamp cleaner, clamps, just in case I need to clamp something. I love red and green buttons. No, there's a reason why I have red and green buttons. That's for something that I do sell on the made-at-home quilt side with garlands, so it's red and green buttons. Some more acrylic plates and some caps and extra brushes, strange tools that I just collect. I don't even know what half this stuff is. I know the bottom row is quilting stuff. I believe. So this is pretty much the room. There's really not more to it. I don't think there could be more to it. I'm still working. It's always going to be a work in progress. It's all like a home. We never stop fixing it up. I'm never going to stop organizing this. I'm never going to stop purging. But I hope you did find this helpful. You've all been waiting for this for a long time. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, we're back. So that is my space, my quiet time, my tranquil moments, believe it or not. I enjoy everything that I do in here, and I'm hoping to make it grow. So I do have some ideas that I am thinking about. Those I'm not going to mention quite yet. I don't want to mention them, get everyone excited, and possibly of them not coming through. So I hope, as I said, I hope you enjoyed it. This is me. I know you guys, you only see my hands in all of my rings. I know my rings drive people crazy, but they are very special to me. Each one means something to me. So sorry about that. But this is who I am. Yep, it's purple hair going on here. There's a silver streak. The silver streak is actually real. This is my makeup. This is what I look like. So sometimes just seeing the hands, we kind of get lost. And I wanted to be able actually to go live. Yeah, that wasn't going to work. My anxiety was just shooting through the roof. I couldn't get connected. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. You know, it's amazing. We do YouTube videos, but guess what? I'm pretty amazed at myself that I can do that. So technology and we do not get along very well. I do tend to win, but I'm still learning with all of the wonderful things that we can do. But I do promise at one point we will go live together and create something. But with that, I figured this was the next best thing. So here's my moment to just say thank you to my watchers, my subscribers. For those of you that have been with me since August of 2017, I've always had this channel. I just held back launching it, which I think is funny. So, finally launched it in August of 2017, and I have never looked back. For those of you that have been with me from the beginning, you made me comfortable. You gave me great suggestions. You give me great feedback, and even the ones that are just coming on now, you still do that. This is your channel. Yes, I run it. Yes, I edit it. Yes, I create all these videos. But this is for you. I want you to learn. I want you to grow. We have so much inspiration out on this YouTube. I am inspired every day. I try to keep up with my videos to watch by those that we call the greats. I call them the greats, and I would be ever in awe if I ever met them. But they are just like us, and we can create beautiful art. We can be creative every day. We are all unique. We are all individuals. So we do not, perfect is not in my vocabulary. I don't believe in that word. I believe as we keep moving, we get better. And that's what we will do. It's tough to not create something and say it doesn't look like that. I've been there. I've done that. But here's our phrase for 2019. Let it go. And we'll sing it. Let it go. It's a simple phrase. It's 3 simple words. But we can do it. And we're going to do it together. I still struggle once in a while because I want to make sure that I'm showing you the right way. I've learned I'm going to show you a different way. Maybe another way that somebody else does this technique or trick or process or whatever it can be. It's just going to be another way to do it, possibly. So keep that in mind. Something that I brought up before, a group. I am putting together a group on Facebook, and it is going to be called, and I'm going to go look at my note. Okay, it's going to be called Always Be Creative. Imagine that. And then some. So the true title is Always Be Creative and then some. So you guys, depending upon when I post a video, get to see what I do. And some of you on my page, include a thank you and then some, have shown me your work. And I think it is absolutely beautiful. I think it is wonderful. I love seeing what you guys create. So I'm going to create a group. It's going to be a closed group, so maybe I hope I don't intimidate you with this. But one of the things that I want to implement is the ability to see your work. So every week or every other week, and as you can see, I'm trying to build this. So we're probably going to launch the beginning of February. So if you see it, you can start wanting to join, and I'll eventually get you in once we finish it. But what I want to do is create a Let It Go Wednesday. That's what I'm going to title it, Let It Go Wednesday. So there's going to be a video that posts on my channel that's going to be called Let It Go Wednesday. Be creative. I'm going to make a card. I'm going to use a technique or do something different with the stamp, whatever it is. It could be a color scheme. Whatever it is that I do, what I'm looking for is for you guys, my followers. I want to see what you create. You'll be able to post it in the group. I'm going to have a specific post for it. And show me how you were inspired by that card. It could be the color scheme. It could be the stamp set. It doesn't have to be the exact stamp set. I don't want you to use the exact same products that I use. You don't have to. I want you to use what's in your stash, because as you can see, we have stashes. Oh, yes. It's an obsession of mine. Obsession. So create something. How were you inspired? What did you think of when I created that card? What popped into your mind? That's something that I always explain in my videos, that when I saw this sentiment, this is what came to my mind, so this is what I wanted to do. That's what I want you guys to do. Mainly because I want to be nosy. I want to see what you guys are going to create. What I also have is a P.O. box. I've had a bunch of people email me and say, I would love to send you a card, or I would love to do this. I now have a P.O. box, so I will be listing that very shortly as well. I would love to receive your cards, because then what I'm looking to create, where the massiveness that was over my computer, I want to create a wonderful inspirational wall of yours and my creations. I would be honored to receive those. And if you're okay with it, as long as because I'll see your return address maybe, put a little tiny note in there and let me know, and maybe you might receive something from me. This is not limited to the US. This is limited to the world. I have the world following me in some cases, which I think is wonderful. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're excited as I am for this first idea that I'm coming up with for a group. I want everyone to get involved. Let's look at what each other does. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope everyone is enjoying, if you're having sunshine or whether you're having snow. We're getting ready for snow here. But always remember what's most important for me. Always. Be creative.